Do you ever wonder why you overthink every text? Why you say yes when you want to say no? Why you keep trying to prove you're easy to love without asking if anyone else is trying for you? It's not because you're weak. It's because somewhere along the way, you learned something without words. If I'm not good enough, they'll leave. This isn't about fear in the obvious way. It's not the fear of spiders or public speaking. It's something quieter, deeper. It's the fear that lives underneath your everyday decisions. The fear of being left, of being too much, of being not enough. And this fear, it doesn't just shape what you do. It shapes who you become. You shrink yourself to fit what others want. You silence your truth to keep the peace. You overthink your worth into something negotiable. All because, at some point, love started to feel unsafe. Maybe you grew up with parents or adults who loved you, but only when you were easy. Only when you were quiet. Only when you got things right. Maybe you learned that being emotional meant being a burden. Maybe you picked up on the message that success meant silence, not authenticity. So your nervous system adapted. Connection comes at the cost of authenticity. Approval is earned, not given. Stay small, stay safe. And when that becomes your foundation for love, everything else gets built on top of fear. You don't just become a people pleaser. You become someone who doubts their own instincts. You don't just crave reassurance, you feel lost without it. You start believing that any misstep, any conflict, any silence could cost you everything. And now you wonder why your heart races when you don't get a text back, why silence feels like a threat, why part of you always assumes it's your fault. You think you're just being sensitive, but the truth is your body remembers what your mind learned to forget. You don't fear rejection because you're irrational. You fear it because, once, it meant something real. Disconnection, abandonment, pain. And because your body never really got the chance to feel safe again, it still reacts like you're back there. Even if the people around you now are safe. Even if you know logically you're not in danger. Emotionally, your body still carries the blueprint. So how do you move forward? Not by forcing yourself to stop caring, not by shaming yourself for being too much, but by understanding. This fear was once protection. It kept you connected. It helped you survive. But now, you're allowed to choose differently. Because love that asks you to abandon yourself isn't love. It's survival. And you weren't made to live in constant fear of disappearing. You're allowed to be seen. You're allowed to be heard. You're allowed to stop running. You can still care about others. You can still show up, try hard, love deeply. But not from fear. Here's the takeaway. This fear doesn't make you broken. It means you were trying to keep love close the only way you knew how. But safety isn't something you chase anymore. It's something you build. And that starts when you stop abandoning yourself just to be chosen. When you realize that being enough was never about proving, it was about remembering. If you're ready to stop running from love and start healing into it, subscribe. You're not alone anymore.